Welcome everyone. I think most of you might know me by now, but I'm Amanda Puck with Mariano's, and I have Sarah Lutz here with me as well, and her mom is watching too, so I'm excited about that. And Sarah's been such a huge help organizing all these. But tonight we are participating in Thirsty Thursdays, and we're excited to have Matt Jannotta here from Hornitos, because this is still Cinco de Mayo week, and we're still going to fiesta in place and enjoy making some cocktails tonight. So we're super excited about that. Just a reminder to please be 21 and over. Please write nice things in the comment section. The chat button is like right where my finger is there. You can ask Matt as many questions. He loves answering questions. He knows a lot about the spirit and spirits in general. So we're happy to have him here, and he'll be back in a few weeks with Maker's Mark. So we'll look forward to that one. Be kind in your comments, because this is a positive place that we started, because we are taking social distancing very seriously and sheltering in place. But that doesn't mean that we can't fiesta in place here with Hornitos tonight. But we have lots of classes online. Most of you have been participating in cooking classes, mixology lessons, wine tastings. We have live music that we were talking about before everybody joined. But we're really happy to have everyone here. And I'm excited about these cocktails, because not only are they delicious, but they're fresh and easy. And I'm definitely going to be enjoying them tonight. So Matt, I'll let you take it away.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, today is a very, very special day. And the reason why I say that is because we've made it yet another week in this lockdown. I'm here with you in your living room. You're here with me in my living room. And it's a very special time. And we're going to get together and celebrate this today over some tequila cocktails, specifically with Hornitos, which is a delicious, delicious tequila that I'm excited about. So on this conference, what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of come with me in your mind to Mexico. Put yourself in that place, kind of travel back, since we can't really officially travel. I see Amanda's already got it going. She's got it covered. So come with me to Mexico and kind of travel with me. We're going to talk about tequila. We're going to talk about Hornitos. We're going to talk about cocktails. And I'm going to answer all your questions to the best of my ability. But before we do that travel, who wants to travel without a cocktail, right? So why don't we dive right into making a cocktail? One of my favorite cocktails, one of the most refreshing, is a Paloma. Now, it's a beautiful day. The sun's shining. We're all here. We're all smiling. And why not a refreshing drink? So what we need to make a Paloma, if you have one, a highball glass, straight and narrow glass, if you have one. If not, it's okay. You can adjust. But the highball glass is what we're going to use in order with the amount of ingredients I'm going to take you through today. We're also going to need a jigger for measurement, and we're also going to need a bar spoon. Funny story I always like to tell about a bar spoon is that a friend of mine who now works at Best Intentions, when he went to bartending school, his first day when he showed up, the teacher told him, "Hey, here's a bar spoon. What you're going to use this for normally is scratching your back. Don't actually do that. It's horrible. It's gross, especially during COVID times. Use this to stir your drink, never scratching your back." And of course, we're going to need a bottle opener to open up your soda if you have bottled soda. If not, can's fine, no big deal. So let's start with our glass, and we're going to start with the cheapest ingredients first. The reason why we start with the cheapest ingredients first is because liquor is a little bit more expensive, and we don't want to lose it, right? It's also the tastiest part of the drink. So we're going to start with the least expensive ingredients. So just in case we mix it up, we don't add the right amounts, you can toss it, chuck it in the bin or whatever, and then start over, and you haven't wasted any liquor. So let's start. We're going to do 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. In this case, it's 1 part to 1 part simple syrup. You can also do 2 to 1, but 1 part to 1 part is what we're doing today. So 1/2 ounce here. You could also do 1/2 part. And I should say, Amanda brought this up earlier, is that a part is pretty much any unit of measurement that you want to associate with the part. In this case, it's going to be ounces. So we're going to do 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. We're then going to move to our grapefruit juice. This one, you know it's good juice because it's separated a little bit, so we're going to shake it up. And I will pause to say, if you do have fresh juice, that is absolutely the best way to enjoy your cocktail. The reason being, when juices are pasteurized or from concentrate, it goes through different processes that can directly affect the taste and the freshness of the juice. And of course, you want the highest ingredients in your cocktail, right, for it to taste the best. So if you have fresh juice, it's preferred. The less processed it is, the better. Even if you have concentrate, it's probably going to be really sweet. You can still use it, but you might not want to use the exact same proportions in case it's super, super sweet. So just a regular ruby red grapefruit juice. We're going to do a 1/2 ounce.
Matt, let's not forget to tell everybody, because I know you're a fan too, but at Mariano's, we squeeze juice all day, every day. We still do it, at all the stores. We have orange, we have grapefruit, we have citrus blend, we can do lime lemon. But Matt used to bartend near one of the stores, and you used to buy the juice for the bar. Yeah,
absolutely. So I used to be the beverage director at Soho House before I worked for Beam Suntory. And I used to spend many a day running down the block when we run out of juice, going to the Mariano's on Halstead Street and getting fresh juice. And it was delicious, and it made great cocktails. So absolutely, I'm glad you brought that up. If you don't want a juice at home, Mariano's has got the best juice out there. So get yourself to Mariano's and grab that. The next thing that we're going to do is 1.5 ounces of Hornitos Tequila. Now, in this particular tequila, it's clear, delicious, it's clean, and it's also agave forward, which adds a little bit of sweetness to your drink too. So it's a perfect mixable spirit for this particular cocktail. You've also noticed that I haven't added the ice yet. We're going to go ahead and do that now.
Oh, I messed up. I put it in there. Sorry.
What's that?
I said I put the ice in first.
Oh, you can. I mean, it's not absolutely a huge problem, but you run the potential risk of over diluting the cocktail. If you pour the liquor and citric acid over the ice, it can over dilute the cocktail a little bit. But a Paloma is a pretty forgiving cocktail, so that's not that big of a deal if you already added the ice. So then we're going to take our bar spoon. We're going to stir, just give it one stir to mix those ingredients together so they're not trapped at the bottom with that ice. And then what we're going to do is take out our soda water. Now, in this particular case, I have Fever Tree Soda, which is one of my favorites, also available at Mariano's as well. One of Beam Suntory's favorites too. It's super, super bubbly, super effervescent. And that's really what you want when it comes to a cocktail, because who out there has gotten a flat, like just kind of bland cocktail from a soda gun at the bar, or a drink that's been sitting out too long? No one likes that. So you want the most bubbly cocktail possible. And the way to get that is to get the most bubbly soda water possible. So I'm going to open up this Fever Tree. And also a quick little tip to give you too. When you look down your glass, try to find a path for the soda water to go that's not pouring all over the ice. Because even though when you pour all over the ice, it fizzes and it looks cool, but the reason why it's fizzing is because you're losing a lot of that CO2, you're losing a lot of that gas. So try to pour it down like a good little avenue there, so it's not super bubbly. Hopefully there's some little bubbles, some little escaping, dancing on the top of the glass there. That's what you want. Now you have a delicious Paloma almost ready to go. You can use a lime garnish if you want, but the traditional garnish is a grapefruit slice. So we're going to actually insert that into the drink. And this isn't necessarily traditional, but it's one of my favorite things to do. Add a rosemary sprig, smells delicious, looks cool, and add it right in between the grapefruit and the edge of the glass. So it kind of pins it in there and makes it look like a little kind of shrubbery right there. And what I'm going to do now, since that drink is finished, I'm going to hit the bell, and it's ready to go. So cheers, everybody.
I love mine. It's so pretty.
That's a delicious looking Paloma right there. I'm not going to lie.
All right, who else made a Paloma? We got to see. Shannon, I'm going to spotlight you really quick. We all have to cheer.
Mine's pretty clear, but it looks good. Tastes good.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Tastes really good.
Everybody
tasting
else?
is the most important.
I know, we got to taste it. I love the rosemary, makes it smell delicious. Oh my God, I love that you added the rosemary. It gives it such a good fragrance right when you start.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of I'm glad that you brought that up. One of the best parts about adding garnish that's scent related to a cocktail is that it really changes the whole flavor of the cocktail itself, because we taste a lot through our nose, as we all know. So if you have a great smell going in before you even take that sip, it changes the whole nuance and the whole flavor of the cocktail itself. That's why you'll see a lot of times bartenders kind of spritz citrus oil over the top of the glass. Same concept. So
yeah, I was debating. I was like a really beautiful grapefruit, and I actually squeezed my own juice, but I really wanted to go with the lime because I thought the colors, the green with the green would be really pretty. So thank you, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're having this cocktail, should we go on our journey through Mexico and talk about tequila a little bit and then Hornitos?
Sí, senor. Please.
Excellent. Good. Thank you very much. So let's talk about tequila first off. So in order for something to be called 100% tequila, it needs to come from Mexico, first of all. Second of all, it needs to come from some specific regions, namely the Jalisco state in Mexico, which is also the home to the town of Tequila and the vast majority of the tequilas that we know today. They also need to be made from a specific type of agave plant called blue Weber agave. You might say, why Weber agave? It's in Mexico. Well, there was a German botanist named Friedrich Weber that was the first one to taxonomically classify the Weber agave, and he named it after himself, of course, selfish guy. But anyway, that's what we call it, blue Weber agave, and it has to come from that specific strain of agave. There are many different types out there. Blue Weber is what we're talking about today. So as you can see here, I got two, I don't know if you can see my two little turtle buddies right here, Leonardo and Donatello, right? I don't know if they want to say hi. I don't know, they're a little shy. But anyway, you can see planted in their shells, we have some succulent plants here, a little aloe as well. The blue Weber agave, even though it looks like a cactus, and even though it has extremely tough, rigid spines that hurt a lot when you're trying to chop the leaves off, is a succulent plant. It's not a cactus, contrary to popular belief. So I have some succulents here on the table, you know, in good faith with the succulent that we're drinking today. So I don't know. Do you have the picture of the agave available?
Sarah can put it up.
Okay, cool.
How long ago was that, Matt, when you took that trip?
This was about 5 years ago here. But so basically what we got going is there's me in the agave fields down right outside of the town of Tequila. You can't really tell right here, but I got a really, really bad fever. My boss made me go out and shuck these agaves because he thought it was because I was hungover the night before. That wasn't the case. I wasn't lying. I had a really bad fever. But anyways, I was out in the field shucking it, and it's extremely, extremely difficult. The process that the humidors, which are the people that actually shuck it, you can see a little bit of the guy to the left there in the picture. They have to go into that plant. That's why they're covered all in. There we go, perfect picture right there. They have to go into that plant. They have to shuck all those spiny leaves off of the plant. And once everything's chopped off, you're left with a pit, and that's what you see on the ground right in front of the individual right there. So when you have that pit, that's really where the juices are, what you need for what you need to make tequila. So once you have that pit, you take it, you extract the juices from that pit, you cook the juices into fermentable sugars, and as we all know, once the sugar is able to be fermented, you can add yeast. The yeast eats the sugars and creates alcohol, which eventually becomes tequila. Now, in this particular case, we're doing Hornitos Plata, or silver, which is not aged, but reposado, añejo, and extra añejo are aged as well. So we kind of learned how we make tequila and how we come about it. And so I'd like to talk a little bit in that case about Hornitos itself. You can't really talk about tequila or think about tequila without thinking about Casa Sauza. Now, Hornitos is part of Casa Sauza, and Casa Sauza is the first well-known licensed tequila distillery in Mexico. It was founded in 1873 by Don Zenobio Sauza. This individual was a great pioneer in the field. He and his brethren pioneered the rules that we have today, where tequila can only come from specific states and can only come from Mexico. The 100% agave rule that we talked about all really started from the Sauza family in 1873. So from 1873, as time went on, he passed it down to his sons. Technology got a little bit better. Advances happened. The rules of appellation occurred. And then in 1950, his great-grandson was in charge of Casa Salsa, and he was the one that came out with Hornitos. And the reason why he came out with Hornitos was to compete with premium spirits that were dominating the U.S. market at the time, namely premium whiskeys and premium cognacs. So the Salsa family thought, well, we need to compete with other areas of the world that also have their own rules and that also have their own laws where production can come from, and we need to show everybody that Mexico has its own spirit and it's where it's at. So that's why Hornitos was invented, and that's what brings us together here on this call today. So, cheers again.
Cheers again.
Absolutely. Any questions so far?
We do have a few. How long does the agave plant take to grow?
The agave plant can take a long time to grow, up to 8 years. And that's also why it's a very, very difficult spirit to consistently deliver to the market, because they do take an extremely long time to mature. And when you harvest them, you can't harvest them young because the spirit's not going to taste the same. The agave nectar is not going to taste the same. Just like any matured plant, like let's say if you cut open an orange before it's ripe, it's going to taste astringent, maybe pithy. Same kind of concept with the agave plant. And you can see how big they get too. It takes them that long and that big, and they get that big. So a lot of work, a lot of pride that goes into it as well.
How many bottles would you get out of like one plant?
I don't think you would actually, out of one single plant, I don't know if you'd get an entire, I don't even know if you'd get like an entire bottle, because basically you're extracting the syrup from the pit, which isn't really all that much, and then you have to distill that on top of everything already. So and there's a certain amount that evaporates, and then when you age it, there's a certain amount that evaporates after that. So you have to harvest quite a bit.
Okay, Liz wants to know which Hornitos variant is your favorite.
This isn't because we're drinking it right now. The silver is my absolute favorite because it's so clean, and I really like to drink tequila in cocktails. And admittedly, I also like to drink tequila with shots, and it's delicious in both. So that's my all-time favorite go-to. The añejo, also delicious, but it's a sipper. It's something you want to consider while you're drinking it, think about, contemplate, maybe have a conversation while you're drinking it, things like that. I'm much more, as you can see, cocktail-focused, bartender-focused type. So this is my favorite.
Sarah and Carol Seneca both like to make Palomas with squirt, and that's a typical way to make it, right?
Absolutely. Excellent that you brought that up, because think about what we just did with this, right? Squirt is a grapefruit soda, citrus soda, right? So we have pretty much deconstructed it with this recipe that we have. So we had the sugar with the simple syrup. We got the grapefruit within citrus there, and then we added the soda water. So it's almost like a homemade squirt. But squirt also, especially Mexican squirt with real sugar in it, is absolutely delicious. Can't argue with that there. Sprinkle a little bit of that in there too, or just use squirt if that's all you have around. Equally as delicious.
And how can you make a spicy Paloma? That sounds really good, actually.
So spicy, it's great that you brought that up too, because at Soho House, as you know, their highest selling is the Picante de la Casa, the highest selling drink, and that's basically a spicy margarita. So the way they do that, and the way most people make spicy tequila cocktails, is they muddle chili peppers in the shaker while they make it. Now, in this particular case, we're not shaking the drink. So what we'd have to do is muddle some chili peppers. I like Fresno chilies in my spicy cocktails, but you could also do jalapenos. Always be careful though, because as many of you know, every pepper has different spices, especially when you go like jalapenos and Fresnos. Some are extremely out of control spicy, can't handle them. Some have very little spice. So taste the pepper before you muddle it in the cocktail, but definitely muddle it. If you don't want the seeds and stuff like that, you can strain it out. But that's the best way to make a spicy one.
I have some jalapeno. I might try it later. That sounds good.
Yeah, throw it in there. Not gonna hurt.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. I think we are good. Everyone's excited about the squirt because that sounds really fun. But yeah, I think those are all the questions for right now, Matt.
Cool. All right. So in that case, do you think we should continue on our journey to the next cocktail?
Yes. What does everybody else think? I think everybody's in.
Okay, cool. I'm most certainly in too. Let's get it going. Now, next cocktail is going to be a variant on the mule. Everybody knows the Moscow Mule. This is going to be very, very similar, except we're going to use Hornitos instead of vodka. I've recently dubbed it the Mexico City Mule. A, because Moscow obviously being the capital of Russia, Mexico City being the capital of Mexico. It works out. Also starts with an M. Can't really go wrong. So let's make a Mexico Mule together. Now, again, we're not going to add the ice first. We're going to add the cheaper ingredients first. So what we're going to do here is start with, I'm going to do 0.75 ounces or 0.75 parts of lime juice, sorry. Put that in there. There we go. And then I'm also going to do 1 part of Hornitos Tequila. Traditionally, Moscow Mules have more of the base spirit in there, but we're going to do a little bit lighter, a little bit more refreshing on this one. And so here we're going to add the ice. Now you may have noticed that I don't have the traditional copper mug, and the reason why I'm kind of using this one is because you don't necessarily need a copper mug. Even though they're traditional and they look super cool, the point of the metallic mug is to keep the drink nice and refreshing and smooth and cold. So metal will insulate and it will do that. So this particular one, this is a Suntory gunmetal, not actual gunmetal, but the term. But it's just as good as the copper. So what we're going to do then, just like the quality soda water, we're going to take quality ginger beer. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, I have ginger ale at the crib, now ginger beer. Is that okay? Not okay, but it's not a mule. Ginger beer, ginger ale taste very differently. Taste them side by side. Ginger beer is much spicier, it's much stronger, has a lot more flavor, and is also much has a fuller body. Whereas ginger ale is a little bit pretty much opposite in all those categories. Still delicious, still refreshing, just not a mule.
Sorry, Matt. Heath wanted to know what's the first thing you put in was lime juice, right? 0.75 ounce or 0.75 part of lime juice.
Yes.
Okay, so lime juice was first, and then someone also commented that 1 fresh lime is about 1 ounce.
Correct.
Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
On average. Cool.
Great.
Oh, actually, before I forget, let's give this a stir. Put the ice in. 1 stir just to make sure everything's good. All right. Then we're going to add our ginger beer in the same way as to make sure we don't get too much gas escaping there.
Whoa.
Going to top it off. And I'm going to garnish this guy with a lime wheel. We can see. And we have ourselves a Moscow Mule ready to go. I'm sorry, Mexico City Mule. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's a good cocktail.
It's so cool because the I think that we talked about ginger ale and ginger beer. The ginger beer has such zing, like it just really is like very refreshing, and it totally brings out the flavor of the tequila.
Absolutely, the spiciness is so important, and you have the smoothness and the agave forward citrus part of the Hornitos Silver. So you have that balanced out with the spice and a little bit of the sweetness that comes from the ginger beer. It's important. Makes a huge difference.
Now, would you add, I thought the rosemary and the Paloma was awesome. Would you add anything else to the mule or the Mexico City mule? Would you add any other kind of herb, or is this more like it should just be straight up with the lime garnish?
Normally straight up with the lime garnish, but you can always get creative. Maybe, how about this? I'm gonna take a little piece of aloe from my turtle friend.
That's a great idea.
And put it right in my drink, just like that. Could be tasty.
Oh, Sarah Mitchell is garnishing with fresh jalapeno. Carol added a bit more tequila than you recommended, but you know, it is Cinco de Mayo week. So Carol, I like your style.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so especially if you want the spiciness too, you can garnish it with the peppers. That most certainly works.
All right, I see a lot of people are drinking out of copper cups. Sarah Mitchell, can I spotlight you? Is that okay? I'm just assuming if you guys are on video that you're okay with it.
Yep, totally okay with it.
Thanks for mixing along. How is your drink?
It's delicious. I'm a big fan of traditional vodka Moscow mules. This is my first Mexico City mule, and I love it.
Awesome, and I love that. Matt just came up with that name today, so it was like perfect. Did you make the Paloma also, or just the mule?
I made the Paloma also. It was maybe something on my end was a little too sweet. I think I overdid it on the simple syrup, but so I know how to correct it in the future, and it'll be a good cocktail also.
You just add more tequila. You add more.
Well, yeah, that's usually my go-to solution.
You know what I just thought of, just as we were talking? If you do have some aloe around, you can actually take your lime wheel off, slide the aloe into the little slit there, and float it on the top.
That's cool. You have all these cool garnish ideas.
Yeah, also delicious.
So Matt, when you are making like these drinks, what's your favorite thing to eat with it?
Well, honestly, we'd have to probably go with the Mexican theme. La Pasadito tacos, some of my favorite in the city. Absolutely delicious. Also, you have, the saltiness and the kind of like umami flavor of the beef, etc. If it's a steak taco, that's my favorite. But however their tacos prepared, the refreshingness from the cocktail is going to help wash that down, especially with the citrus as well.
Right. That sounds delicious. We're going to spotlight Erin, who actually works also with, I always have a hard time finding people, so I apologize if I'm like, taking time. But Erin we have this really cool product we're selling at Mariano's right now for those of you who like margaritas. So, oh, there she is. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the package. It's actually the same margarita that's sold at Wrigley Field if you guys are missing going to the games right now. So it has a 750 milliliter of Hornitos Plata and then the Zing Zang margarita mix. You can buy it in store now.
That's real. I haven't seen that yet, and that's really cool. I definitely want to get one just because, we all miss. The Cubbies are so great, and this is the season we'd all be watching them. So that's cool that we have that.
Absolutely.
I know. Go Cubs, go. Exactly. I don't think I've ever had a margarita at Wrigley, so this will be my opportunity to have it when I'm not really there. So that'll be great. Denise Daniels recommends adding a Meyer lemon wheel, which sounds really good too. What do you think of that, Matt?
Absolutely, definitely delicious. It's a citrus fruit, so it's going to work. Meyer lemons especially are luscious and super flavorful, so you can't really go wrong there.
All right, I want to get Carol Seneca as soon as she takes a sip of her drink. We're going to get her on here. Hi, how are you? Oh, wait, hold on. I think you have to unmute me maybe. Oh, wait. I think between me, you, and Sarah, we're all like pressing the button. There you go. How are you?
I'm good.
So how are your drinks? I like your mug.
This is one of my favorites from the last couple of weeks.
Awesome. So you've been using it a lot over the last couple of weeks is what you're saying?
Well, every Thursday from the last class is one of my favorites.
Oh, awesome. Good. Oh, good. Oh, the drink. Oh, that's great. It is so refreshing and delicious.
Yeah, but I did add more tequila.
That's what I like about you.
Yeah.
A Hornitos topper on top of the drink.
Yeah, and this is my favorite ginger beer. It's Bundaberg.
I know you mentioned that. I want to look into that. I don't think we sell that at Mariano's, but it looks really good.
Even, I don't care for diet, but even the diet is good.
Awesome. And how did you make the Paloma too?
Yes, I drank that already.
I love happy hour with this group. It's always happy and fun, and it's great. Thank you. I love seeing you again. Hopefully we'll see you in the next couple of weeks too. Who's your neighbor again? Missy George. Where is she at? And if anyone wants to come on and say something, you can always just send a message on the chat and we'll come find you. But I'm gonna look for Missy if she has video. Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Hi, Missy George.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
So can you guys see, since you're neighbors, can you like see each other through the window or anything?
Yeah, we see each other in the driveway, social distancing.
All right, cool. Did you make
With
the
a
drink?
beverage or two.
That sounds about right. Did you make the drinks tonight?
I did, and you know, I'm with Carol. I think this is my favorite out of all the weeks I've done.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Matt, how great is that? Yay,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it might be because of the bell too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you can ring the bell for us one more time.
I'm drinking this more.
I think what I love about it is that it's, you know, as long as you get the measurements correctly, because it's important to measure, but I think it's like easy and very refreshing. And I love how like frosty the mug gets. It's really great. So good job.
And I put more tequila in it too.
We got to do what we got to do.
Yep.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it too, it's a very forgiving cocktail. So, you know, just if anything, you know, if you screw up the amounts or the, you know, ounceages, stuff like that, you can always recover with adding a little more or less ginger beer or whatever. So it certainly works. And with the metal mug, of course, as we talked about, it always stays cold.
Yeah, why aren't all drinks served in a metal mug? Because this does keep it really frosty. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I don't know. When people make martinis, they always want them like extra chilled. So, like, how come this is the only drink served in a metal cup, Matt?
You know, I can't actually speak to why it's the only drink served in a metal cup, but I can speak to the fact that before glass was around and plentiful, all drinks were served in metal, and especially beers, and that kept them cold and it kept them frosty and delicious for sure. But glass, for, you know, that's something that I need to look into. I don't know why glass became the preferred.
Right. I mean, I've seen metal martini glasses, and I've seen, but I mean, I think the only drink that I know served in a metal vehicle is the mule.
I'm guessing it's probably cheaper and more readily available, but something certainly to research. And I love drinking cocktails and beers in metal vessels. So
yeah, but these a real good one isn't cheap. I got 2 of these as a gift, but I mean, I remember when these first started becoming really trendy. I mean, they're like $30-$40 a mug, right? I mean, they're not a cheap thing to add to your glassware collection.
Yeah, no, they are actually pretty expensive. The only ones that I found online were like super expensive.
Right.
And of course, not really deliverable either. So yeah, so any type, like if you do happen to have the copper at the home, definitely the way to go.
Love it. And Joyce said that these would taste even better on the beach in Mexico, and I agree. I think everyone here would probably agree with that, and hopefully we'll all be able to travel soon and enjoy these types of drinks with friends and fun destinations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the inspiration that I had when I said that, you know, let's all put ourselves there in our minds and travel together, you know, because that's where we all want to be, right?
I think like 2 Aprils. I think a year ago today or around this time, I was joking that we were talking about Maker's Mark for a few weeks, and I was on the Bourbon Trail, but I also was in Cabo enjoying delicious drinks. So it's, yeah, hopefully we'll all be able to get back to that kind of routine soon. Sarah found some more people who are making drinks, so she's up. There you are. How are you?
Hello.
How's it going? I see your kids. You guys are making dinner, it looks like, right?
Yeah. So I actually added fresh ginger to mine. I thought I'd try it out tonight. Never had it.
Right.
So, but I think I like the Paloma better. I think this is our top drink.
Cheers. Oh, awesome. Cheers, you guys. I love that you're an overachiever and use fresh ginger. Thank you. You guys are great. Thanks for being here again. We love seeing you and your family. And then there's Susie Gill. Sarah, I think, is getting better at this than me, so she can find people. Driving on the Zoom thing is hard when there's like 80 people. Hi, Susie. How are you?
Good.
You look like you're having a great time. How are your drinks?
We are. They're really good. He's got the mule and I have the Paloma.
Oh, I love your glassware. That's beautiful.
Thank you. We needed a big one.
Glasses.
What do I have?
Paloma.
Oh,
right.
It's a family party.
So you're having fun mixing along?
Oh yeah.
Great. I don't know which one I like better. I think I just like this because it looks so pretty, and I love the rosemary. It smells really good.
Yeah, I love the rosemary. We just have limes.
That's okay. It all works, right?
Classic.
Love it. Matt, you're such a hit. These have been like fun recipes.
Well, you know, that's really the whole point of cocktails, is it not? Is to have fun and smile and laugh and enjoy ourselves.
Oh, and Susie, actually, she mentioned Hornitos Ranch Water is one of her favorite cocktails, and Hornitos Black Barrel Margaritas with jalapeno juice. Black
Barrel is definitely a delicious tequila that you don't see as much, but I think it's a big sleeper in the game, and you're going to see it a lot more as the stores are going to be, at least for now, some of the only places you can buy our liquor, and I think you're going to see it a lot more in the bars and restaurants when they open back up, for sure.
What's Hornitos Ranch Water?
So ranch waters are something that's become recently very popular. One of my best buddies from Chicago, Mike Higgins, now just recently moved to Arizona, and he told me about these ranch waters, and I was like, he's like, oh man, they're the hit, they're the new thing, and I was like, well, what is it? And he was like, man, so it's lime, tequila, and bubbly, really bubbly soda water. And I'm like, perfect. That's what you want. That's delicious. And it's just like, you know, this is something at Beam Suntory that we've been talking about and promoting and being very, very good at for a long time is the highball, which is very similar. It's whiskey, ultra high carbonated quality soda water and lemon. So I think what can be said there and why it's becoming so popular, because people want simple, refreshing, delicious cocktails.
Right.
Ranch water is a perfect example of that.
All right, can you send us, or can we find the recipe and we'll send it out to everyone in the recap of tonight?
100%.
Oh my, that's awesome. I think your friend is actually on the Zoom because he just said, yeah, buddy. So is that the...
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I think, what's his last name, Higgins?
Higgins, yeah.
Yeah, he's on here. Hey.
All right.
There he is.
No, that's not him.
Oh, all right, never mind. Sarah, I think, found a few more people who made drinks. So let's see. Is that Big Mike? Does he know he's spotlighted? Did he make the mule? Yes, okay, cool. He's got it there. Up, who's this? This is Laura, how are you?
Matthew's aunt and his cousin. So
oh, we love it. It's a family affair. How awesome. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks, Matt.
Three votes for the tequila mule. We every one of us like it better than the
Moscow mule.
Yeah, the traditional one.
It definitely has more flavor to it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Someone made a comment, Matt, that they make old fashions with tequila, which I think is cool. I love like classic cocktails that you can like switch something out. So how would you do like an old fashioned, tequila old fashioned?
So tequila old fashioned, so it's kind of a variation. Like the Oaxacan old fashioned is old fashioned with mezcal, so it's very, very similar. And basically, you can do the same proportions as a regular old fashioned, except the base spirit is going to be tequila. So what I would vote for is about probably 2 ounces of tequila, depending upon how sweet your simple syrup is, about a 1/4 ounce to maybe a 1/2 ounce, stirred with 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and probably a little bit of orange bitters in there as well.
Okay. Can you maybe send us that recipe too? Because that sounds fun. I love like doing riffs on classic cocktails with other spirits.
No problem.
All right, cool. If anyone else has any requests, now's your time. You can get Matt to give us the recipe. So, Matt, why don't we let everyone know about your class 2 weeks from tonight with makers?
Okay, so 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to be doing very similar to what we're doing today, except we're going to travel to Kentucky, a little bit closer, a little bit more easy to put ourselves there mentally. But we're going to go through Bloody Mary with Maker's Mark. We're also going to do Manhattan with Maker's Mark. And then we're also going to send out a chicken wing recipe, which is delicious. Chicken wings being one of my favorite foods on the planet. And the sauce that we're going to send the recipe out with has Maker's Mark in the recipe. So it's going to be really delicious.
I'm going to admit, well, I'm making all the drinks, but I'm for sure making those wings. The recipe you guys sent looks amazing. And I just tried making wings like last weekend for the first time, and they came out great. So I'm going to do it, Matt. I'm excited.
Good. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that as well. I recommend that especially that's a delicious pairing, the wings. And you wouldn't think so, but wings in a cocktail, especially a whiskey one, very delicious.
I love it. All right, so someone's asking about, Melina is asking about a tequila Sazerac. Is that possible?
Tequila Sazerac is certainly possible. I can't promise exactly how it would turn out because one of the principal ingredients in the Sazerac is Peychaud's bitters, and Peychaud's bitters has a somewhat of an anise flavor to it. Paired with tequila. I've never made one, so I can't promise it would be delicious. But I think you could toy with the ingredients in the proper way to make it tasty for sure.
I think it's just worth a try. It's worth an experiment. So.
It's definitely worth an experiment. Everything's worth experimenting in the cocktail world. Never hold back.
Right. I like the cocktail The Last Word, but I like to use tequila instead of gin in it.
The palabra finalmente.
Oh, is that what it's really called? I call it no mas.
I just made that up. But yeah, no, that could work. Definitely.
I like that a lot. Tequila Negroni, is that possible? And that's from the Ryan Kaplan and the Kaplan household. Nice.
So thank you very much, Kaplan household, for that one. It's definitely possible. But I would be careful about how much Campari you added to it because it could overtake the flavor of the tequila. Gin, as we learned in the last Thirsty Thursday, is so strong and holds up to a lot in a cocktail that you wouldn't want to be too overbearing with the Campari because the Campari is pretty tough and it stands up to gin, but it might not totally stand up to tequila. So just be careful with the ratio. Certainly could do it though.
All right. So, and then Nikita made a great comment that quarantine is the best time to experiment. So if you want to try a tequila Negroni or a Sazerac, now is the time because no one's going to know if it turns out bad. You don't have to tell anyone.
Yeah. And you can just drink it and no one has to see you choke.
No one has to know anything.
Yeah.
Cheryl wants to know, what's your favorite way to do shots? Is it salt first? What's your preferred way?
Interesting question. So
not that we're condoning shots because we are all drinking responsible, but hi, how are you?
100%. So that's an interesting question. So when you talk to tequila purists and bartender purists, a lot of them say, no, you don't want anything else. You don't want salt. You don't want lime. You want to take a shot clean because you want to enjoy the tequila, right? However, I personally really enjoy lime and salt with the tequila. So what I do is I sprinkle a little bit of a little bit of salt, take the shot, and then basically what this citric acid does when you take a bite of the lime is it cancels out a lot of the flavors and things that almost you know that feeling when you take a shot, your throat might just jerks for a second. That's because of the way the liquor is actually hitting your taste buds. So the citric acid counteracts that with tequila. So it really helps, and it's also just delicious. It's tasty.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, you see a lot of bartenders be like, "Oh, do you need training wheels?" You'll hear that, meaning the lime and the salt.
Right.
Don't listen to that. it's if you do it in that order, there's a reason why people have been doing it for so many years.
Okay.
It's because it makes it delicious and far more palatable.
Great advice. Thank you.
Do you chill should you chill the tequila, or is it just like out of the bottle situation?
I personally don't like chilling tequila, and the reason why is because I like to focus on the taste of the tequila. The salt and the lime doesn't cancel the flavor, right? It changes it slightly. When you shake a tequila shot of tequila to the point where it's like freezing, it becomes so watery. It's just like, why even? That's my opinion.
Right.
But I guess the answer to my question would be, well, why do that? Well, because it's way easier to shoot. So, you know, I don't like to take shots because they're easy necessarily. I like to do it because they taste good and they're fun, right?
Do you have like if you drink a margarita, or like what kind of salt do you like to use? Do you like to use like the kosher salt? Does it matter what kind of salt? Do you like to mix anything in with the salt?
I prefer non-iodized salt. So like if you get like the like the Morton salt in the cylinder, right? The classic salt container, that's iodized. Not all Morton salt is iodized, but that's like the typical what we get, like table salt basically.
Right.
So that kind of has a weird flavor to it. I prefer like kosher, or there are rimming salt or margarita salt that you can get at Vinny's. But basically more coarse, chunkier salt tastes better, in my opinion, and it has less of that chemically aftertaste.
Yeah, I know at Mariano's we have Diamond, we have Morton's, we have that real salt, which is kind of pink, which I use sometimes.
Yeah.
Those are like the three major ones. On sea salt, Laura, that's a good comment. And Carol Seneca wants to know, what's your margarita recipe?
Margarita recipe, I mean, they can pretty much vary. But what I'd like to highlight in this particular Zoom is the Cubby Rita that we showed earlier from Erin. I don't know if Erin's still on the call, but do we have her now? But either way, it has it comes with a bottle of Hornitos, and it comes with Zing Zang mix, which is not the traditional margarita. The traditional margarita is the citrus and the sugar, etc., broken down and added together. But most certainly, citrus, tequila, sweetener, sugar, ideally simple syrup, the way to go.
All right, so we'll send out maybe a recipe in the end. Oh, here's Erin. Hold on, let me get her again. But that looks really cool. I definitely want to get that. That looks really fun. That's just fun. And I didn't know that Zing Zang made margarita mix, so this is great.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of the best tasting margarita mixes out there. And if anyone's been to Wrigley Field and had their margarita in the last couple of years, it's great. And it's made with Zing Zang and Hornitos.
Awesome. I don't want Lindsay to kill me, but one of our coworkers is on, and I'm going to spotlight you, Lindsay. I see you. I'm so excited. If I can unmute you. Hi, Lindsay. How are you? I haven't seen Lindsay in like months because of the shelter in place, so it's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Did you make any of the drinks?
I'm on my second Paloma right now.
I always knew I really liked you.
These are awesome. Thank you so much for the recipe.
Yeah, Lindsay works in our adult beverage department for Mariano's and for all of Roundy's in Wisconsin and Illinois, and she's helped us put a lot of stuff together. So we really appreciate all of her help all the time. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you later. Oh, Nikita loves you because you invited her. That's so nice. I love it. Awesome. All right, well, does anyone have any other questions for Matt? I mean, this has been really fun. I can't wait to I don't know which one I'm going to go for first, because these both were really fun and easy to make and very refreshing and delicious. And the weather was so great today here in Illinois. So hopefully everyone had great weather wherever you are, and we'll be able to enjoy these. But I don't know. I think that's all we have. Nice job, Matt, from David. Amanda, not me, another one, said this is great. And Carol, we can't wait to see you next week. Denise Daniels made a keto-friendly margarita. So Denise, maybe you can email Sarah or me and send us that recipe, because I think that sounds really cool. We have a lot of people asking about gluten-free, not with drinks obviously, but and keto and other things. So
one thing I would say to the gluten-free point, that's a big thing you see, especially with certain brands out there. We'll stress the gluten-free aspect. As long as you have, if you're having a distilled spirit in your cocktail, just speaking to the spirit itself, all spirits are gluten-free, given the way that the heat and the fermentation and the distillation process that the grains go through are completely stripped of any gluten, period, no matter what distilled spirit it is. So it's a lot easier than people think.
All right, cool. That's good. A good tip. That all alcohol pretty much is gluten-free, so we're good. This is awesome. Yeah, and everyone's excited about Maker's Mark. So the Maker's Mark event with Matt is 2 weeks from today.
Yep.
We have a live music tomorrow night on our Facebook Live. So we have an awesome, Sarah, I forget who it is. It's Ethan, what's his name? Sarah will tell us, but we're going to be streaming it from our Facebook Live tomorrow from 6 to 7 Central. He actually was on The Voice also. So it'd be fun to kind of listen in. If you have kids under 8, I know Nikita, you mentioned you have a 2-year-old. We have Miss Jamie from the farm Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. And then we start again next week, and we're making what I really think is going to be a great recipe for mac and cheese with our tastemaker chef, Brian Jupiter. It's a cheesy week, actually, because the next night on Wednesday, we're doing cheese boards, how to make a great cheese board. We're featuring local products and some great wines. And then, yeah, we start, with mixology all over again on Thursday, but Matt will be back in 2 weeks. So we're really excited about that. So I think that's all that I have. Sarah, do you remember that guy's name? Sorry, for tomorrow night.
Yeah, Ethan Butler.
Thank you. And he won, he was on The Voice.
Yes, he did not win The Voice, but he was on The Voice.
All right. Did you see him on there?
I did not, actually.
Which was your favorite drink tonight? Did you make both or just the Mexico City Mule?
I made the Mexico City Mule, and I had my nice little metal glass too. And I used Gosling's ginger beer too.
Great.
And it was delicious. Thanks,
I know it's sheltering in place and keeping social distance is so important right now, but I miss working with Sarah every day. We still have a good time virtually, but it's nice to see her and Lindsay here tonight and all of you and the team from Beam. And we're just excited. So we'll see everyone tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks. Don't miss Matt's Maker's Mark presentation. I'm really excited about it. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a safe rest of the week.
And also, if I could just say one thing before everybody goes.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for having me. It's been a huge pleasure. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention and your appreciation. It's been great working with Mariano's and Amanda and the team. Go to Mariano's, get yourself some Hornitos, get yourself some fresh juice, make these cocktails at home, and thank you very much.
Matt, you're a huge hit. Thank you so much. We'll see everybody tomorrow or next week or whenever we do, but stay safe until then.
Thank you.